What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to episode 170, really big number, of my weekly Q&A show, The People's Questions. And this time, we actually got quite a lot of newbies coming this time around that have brought in a really great set of new questions. So I want to thank those newbies before I start announcing them for the first time on this channel. So starting off real simple is the president himself, Mr. Barack Obama, and you want to know, will I be watching E3 this year or just highlights? If I don't have work on those particular days, I'll definitely check out E3, probably on my laptop. I usually don't have to go to work till probably 8 or 10 at night, so that usually should make it pretty safe for me to check out E3. Next question is, what do I want to see this year from E3? Well, I don't really have a Nintendo, so I really doubt I'll be doing anything Nintendo related this year. In terms of Xbox, I just kind of want to see more of their exclusives. Hopefully we'll see some new IPs announced that aren't shooters, because that's really how they got me into getting an Xbox, which there's a question about an Xbox which I'll be answering later on in this episode. And in terms of PlayStation, I'm just hoping that they'll probably announce some, just more exclusives. Really, that's all I really ask. I mean, maybe some Dead Space 4, maybe so we can finally get an announcement of an official God of War game. I know that they'll probably mention something about Uncharted, but, just the usual standard stuff. And the last question is my body ready for E3? Well, Mr. President, I'm wearing a Nintendo shirt that says Addict, or Addict. So, I think that's about as ready as you can get for an E3 conference. The next two questions come from my first newbie of the episode, going by the name of Vanilla Gear, which I think is a very interesting name. And you had quite possibly two of the hardest questions of this episode. And you want to know, what cutscene would I prefer? The epilogue cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4, or the truth about the boss in Metal Gear Solid 3? This is very, very hard, because I love the epilogue for Metal Gear Solid 4 because I thought it really was the perfect ending to my all-time favorite franchise of all time. I loved how Solid Snake had that moment with his father, Big Boss, and it was Big Boss who kind of told Snake to not be a soldier anymore, and that really is probably like the best father-son moment I've ever seen in a video game. However, finding out the truth about the boss is, I hate saying this, but it's only the second moment in a video game that has legitimately made me cry. In my entire 24 years of life, only 2 games have done that, and this was one of them. So, I'm sorry, this is probably one of the most impossible video game questions I can unanswer, but I can't really pick. Those are just too perfect. I cannot pick which one is better. However, I can give you an answer to your second question, and you want to know, which do I prefer? The walk through the microwave scene in Metal Gear Solid 4, or the ladder climb in Metal Gear Solid 3? That ladder climb really confuses me, because number one, why does a ladder have to be that long and high? And like, did they build an elevator or a set of stairs? And how could you build something like that? I mean, just thinking about the construction for that whole shaft was really confusing. So unquestionably, I thought the microwave scene in Metal Gear Solid 4 was much better. The music was better. I loved how it was showing what was happening to everybody. Like, everything was just falling apart. People were about to die, and Snake is just crawling as he's just being cooked. His suit is being torn up. Raiden is getting stabbed. The Navy fleet is being destroyed. I mean, everything is just going to shit, and it's just a truly epic moment. So, hands down, the microwave scene from Metal Gear Solid 4 is better. The next question comes from another newbie going by the name of Vital Ops, and you want to know, what games do I have on the Xbox One? As it stands right now, I guess in a sense I have the entire Master Chief Collection, which I guess counts as 4 games. I recently finished beating it, and I actually was able to play with one of my good friends, Mr. Gizmotech, online for the first time, which I ended up accidentally buying 3 months of Xbox Live, so there's that. And I recently finally was able to pick up the one game that I saw at last year's E3 that made me want to get an Xbox, and that is Ori and the Blind Forest. I have to say that I hate saying this word because I think it makes me sound a little bit like a sissy maybe, but Ori and the Blind Forest is probably the most enchanted game I have played probably since Flower back on the PlayStation 3. This is such a beautiful game. Its storytelling is very subtle, but the environment is just so majestic. I am loving every second of it. I haven't beaten it, and I've been thinking about doing a Twitch stream of it, so let me know if you guys want to see me actually play this game. But I'm having a blast with it, but as it stands, I just have those two games. I haven't really seen anything that's in the Xbox library that I've wanted to pick up. However, probably pick up Halo 5 when it comes out, and maybe a couple of extra exclusives. I'm sure they're gonna announce like a Gears at this year's E3. It's been kind of semi-leaked, so I'll probably be getting that. But as it stands right now, I have Ori and the Blind Forest in the Master Chief Collection, and that's it for my Xbox One's library. The next two questions come from Switch Kid 1, and you want to know, what are my top 3 Batman villains and why? Well, I actually did a video going over my top 10 favorite Batman villains, but I can sum up the top 3 very easy. Number 3 is Black Mask. I think that out of all the criminal organization bosses, I think Black Mask is my favorite and most underrated. He is a very, very interesting character. He has a very, very personal past with Bruce Wayne, having kind of been childhood friends and kind of been humiliated by Bruce Wayne, and kind of his whole history about how he got his Black Mask is truly dark. I just hate how he's been treated in the other media forms, like in the movies and in the video games. I really thought they were going to do Black Mask justice in that Arkham Origins, but that didn't turn out to be the case because of who ended up actually being Black Mask. But I think that out of all the criminal bosses, he definitely is the one who has the best organizational skills, and he's a serious threat on his own. And he has a fierce rivalry with Catwoman. Catwoman, Selina Kyle just hates his guts. I mean, it gets pretty gruesome. Number 2 is Bane. Bane is my second because he is the physical threat, and he's also quite intelligent. He's not just a mindless brute like some of the other medias like to project him to be. He is very, very intelligent, and you know, you can't really talk about any storyline involving Bane without mentioning the Nightfall story, and that too is, in my opinion, that's as close to the Death of Superman story. Pretty much, Nightfall to Batman is what the Death of Superman was for Superman, except Batman didn't die. It proved that this is why Batman is such a vulnerable character, because he is human and he can be crippled. And I think that even from that day on, Batman always had not necessarily a fear of Bane, but he acknowledged that anytime he was dealing with Bane, he was dealing with a very serious threat, and I like that Batman has that level of awareness when it comes to encountering Bane. And number 1, of course, I can't imagine anyone picking any other villain for the number 1 when it comes to Batman, and that is the Joker. Joker, that's all I gotta say, is Joker. There are 100 million reasons why Joker is the best Batman villain, if not one of the best villains of all time, and you know, that could be its own video altogether. So without wasting any more time, I'm just going to move on to the next question. And your next question is, what do I think of Jared Leto's Joker so far, and do I think he'll do a good job? From what I've seen, all I ever wanted from this Joker is that I don't want to be reminded of Heath Ledger's Joker. And that's exactly what we're getting. Do I think he'll be a good Joker? Yes, from what I've seen, it looks a little, quote, fruity for my taste. But I really want to see this Joker in action. It seems like every day they're releasing new set photos. I mean, like today they released some footage and some pictures of Batman riding on Joker's Lamborghini car where Harley's in the car, so who knows what that's going to be. Maybe it's a flashback. But yeah, I do think he's going to be a good Joker. Do I think he's going to be better than Heath Ledger? That remains to be seen, but I think his odds are very, very low, but there's always hope. The next 2 questions come from a regular of mine going by the name of JDS4696, and you want to know, do I like the promo to the Supergirl TV show? I saw it. I don't think I'm really going to be watching it. I've never really been much of a Supergirl fan. I've never really found her as a very interesting character, so I don't really see a point to really watching a TV show about her, since it seems like the type of story where it's about Supergirl trying to find herself in the world, and you know, I can't imagine they're going to really be adding any interesting villains that I would personally prefer seeing Superman take on in the movie. So, yeah, I saw the promo, but I'm not really interested in it. Next question is, do I think there will be another Ninja Gaiden? I'm not really a big Ninja Gaiden fan myself, but, you know, it is a recognizable franchise. The much older games are hard as shit. You know, it's possible. I'm sure they'll give us at least one Ninja Gaiden per gaming generation cycle. So yeah, I think it's possible we'll see one in the future. Your next 3 questions come from another regular of mine going by the name of Deafening Giraffes, and you want to know, what do I think has been the most random thing and Loot Crate has sent me? Most random thing. Probably candy. I mean, candy's nice, but you know, it's kind of not, it's not meant to last long, I guess, so I guess candy for the most part. Next question, what is my least favorite soda? Oh, Sierra Mist. I don't like it. Just something about it tastes really funny, and it has a really bad aftertaste. It's kind of like a really bad version of Sprite. And I love Sprite, but like if Sprite had like an evil twin brother, that would be Sierra Mist, and that's why I kind of don't like it at all. And next question is, what do I think I would do in my free time besides video games? I personally don't really do anything outside of video games. It's either work, video games, or working on the channel. I don't really go out much because there's no one in this city to hang out with. I absolutely have no friends that I can hang out with in Vegas, which is why I really want to move. I really wish I could move to one of your guys' locations so we could hang out and have all kinds of fun memories. But yeah, outside of really games and my job, all I really have is you guys and the channel. So really, that's really where all my free time is spent. The next question comes from CRH Gaming, and you want to know, what is my favorite candy? Now and Laters, hands down. And the last 3 questions is also from the final newbie of the episode, and you going by the name of Techno Bacon, which that's actually a pretty creative name. And you want to know, why do I have 30 million intros for my videos? This is probably my favorite question of this episode. Well, Mr. Techno Bacon, I don't have 30 million intros. I don't deny I've gone through a lot of them in these past almost 4 years. But I think I go through so many intros because I believe the channel is in a constant state of changing and evolving. And so there's certain, I would say at this point I've probably gone through at least no less than maybe 16 intros over my past 4 years. However, I do retire some, so if you actually go back to watch some of my videos from 2012, really primitive, low-grade intros, and you watch 2013 and they're better intros, and then if you go to last year, better intros, and then this year they're different intros, and then next year you're going to see a whole new set of intros. I think that having all these intros, I think it keeps the channel fresh. I think the only time I might stop at this is like maybe if a viewer or a fan actually creates like a really cool customizable 3TR type of intro, which is something I would like to use for all my videos, but I haven't quite found that perfect intro yet, so I'm constantly changing them every year just to keep it fresh. So that's why I seem to have a lot of intros, but I only use, like, at this point I'm using at least 4 different standard 3TR intros and only 3 People's Questions intros. If I find a perfect intro for a certain type of video, then that's when I will stick with the most. The next question is, which movies this year will I be seeing or have I seen on opening day? Well, let's see, what have I seen? I've seen The Kingsman, Secret Service. That's like my favorite movie this year so far. I saw Fast 7. I saw recently Mad Max. I had a lot of fun with that one. I saw Avengers. I think the rest of the year, I think I'll probably be seeing your standard typical moviegoer movies. I'll see Ant-Man. I was going to see Ratchet & Clank, but they pushed that to 2016. What else? Mission Impossible, that's a big one. 007 Spectre, I'm definitely gonna check that one out. So any typical movie that a regular moviegoer will go see, chances are that's what I will be going to see on opening day. And the last question is, am I going to be picking up Batman Arkham Knight? Yes, I'm going to be picking up Arkham Knight, and I'm going to say this right now, that getting Arkham Knight is probably going to be the most single expensive video game purchase I will ever do in my life, because I'm doing something very special with it, and there's a very good chance, I'm willing to make this claim, that I will probably be the only person in the city that does a certain thing with Arkham Knight, and when people see it, they're going to think it's absolutely crazy. But only a few people know exactly what I'm doing with Arkham Knight, and I'm sure once people actually see it, they'll think I'm crazy, but maybe pretty awesome at the same time. And with that, those are the questions you guys sent for this particular episode. Thank you for making this episode extra long, because I actually like answering all your amazing questions. And if you guys have any more questions you'd like me to answer in next Friday's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below, but make sure you get them into me before next Wednesday before filming this. And if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track my future episodes of People's Questions every Friday. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.